Yo, hello, and welcome to another edition of X-Feed. Sorry, caught off guard a little bit there at the beginning. Just an FYI, the abstract account is compromised. We've talked about this every single day. The whole platform of X feels like it's very unsecure. Maybe this is social engineering. Maybe there's somebody paid behind the table. I have absolutely no idea, but red alert, red alert, red alert. If you have any friends, be aware, be aware, be aware, be aware. Hopefully, when you saw that, the first reaction, if you've seen it before, looking on here, was that's a scam, because that was exactly the case. Welcome to another edition of X-Feed. What's up? My name is Schiller. Talk about NFTs and all that kind of fun jazz. We're going to rapid fire through a couple of things here. Palace, who also plays League of Legends. If you play League of Legends and you want to ever game, let me know. I'm happy to do so. Twitter removing the Wallet Connect NFT profile pictures was actually a huge loss for NFTs. I agree. And going back, I can't even remember how many years ago this was. You can see that there was COVID updates over on the side. But introducing NFT profile pictures. What is an NFT? NFTs, short for non-fungible tokens, are digital items that you own. Proof of ownership is stored on a blockchain, a digital database that is publicly accessible. So what does this mean? NFT profile pictures are displayed in a special hexagonal shape. And to choose an NFT as your profile picture, you must connect to your crypto wallet. So it seems, not harmful or anything. However, what ended up happening was people were creating NFTs just run-of-the-mill, copying other notable ones and acting as if they owned it. So as we've seen various compromises and things, somebody would reach out saying, hey, I'm a part of this community, or I own this, or I want to do a trade, or would you click on this link, and yada, yada, yada. I think you're friends, all in the same community. And it wasn't the case. Now you could click on it and it would actually verify, I believe, within the profile if you clicked on it and checked it out. But there was still some weird happenings around it. But I do miss the days when that was out and around. Sam Altman says Meta, the company, offered OpenAI staff $100 million in bonuses as Mark Zuckerberg ramps AI poaching efforts per CNBC. So within crypto, obviously there's a little bit of speculation. And sure, memes have done what they do. And there's been talks and subsequently rises in certain AI coins. But if you remember back to the NFT craze, one of the biggest reasons that people jumped into the space was around the speculation of, you know what, maybe I can make a little bit of money. Yo, Roar, I need to respond to you. Sorry, I saw the message. I got a couple of DMs that I haven't gotten to yet, and I need to hit you up. But thank you for reaching out. I saw like the first little bit, but I was out driving, and I didn't want to open it and forget. But I'm getting to you, and good to see you. But back to the point is that the speculation, what if that ends up coming back, right? What is going to drive that speculation? We probably agree that it's not the NFTs in the same form that it was. We can make the arguments of some of the larger cap cryptos that are associated with AI. We could say that there's a couple of the smaller ones, but I think, excuse me, if the speculation does ramp up, excuse me, you can see that like 100 million here is getting put in for a single person. You just need a little bit of that to trickle down, and we got fireworks. Breaking, the first XRP spot ETF launches on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Now, I don't want to misspeak by any means, but I think Canada had the first Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs as well, or at least variations of it, because I remember before there was a whole bunch of different ones where you could get access to Bitcoin and not like spot Bitcoin. It was through a stock of some sort, but I'm pretty sure the stock was legitimately just that. So maybe I need to do a little bit of research, but interesting to see that XRP at least is the first ETF here on the Toronto Stock Exchange. And so back to the speculation around AI, people are asking, okay, well, what's going on with Ripple? There was a settlement that was supposed to happen. They've been, submitted to the SEC. We'll see what ends up happening in that sort. If that gets officially closed, what ends up happening? Before, there was a huge run on XRP, but then it was like, oh, you know what? We're still having all these courts, these issues, So do things end up changing? Potentially. And if you're joining a little bit late, the abstract official X account is compromised. So be very aware. Do not click it. But on that topic, Bo, X article scams. Scammers are using X articles to distribute malicious links for crypto projects. And so this is something, Dario, you absolute friggin' beauty. What's going on? What's new? This is something that happens to me. It probably happens to you guys too. If you've ever posted about crypto, maybe not as much if you haven't, but this title of this says Pudgy Penguins announces Point Season 2.0. Here's what you have to know. not really thinking anything of it. You might go into it. Then within the links, there's compromisations. There's whatever else under the sun. So just be aware this happens. It's going to be from other collections as well. And looking at some of the Discords, it's terrifying to see and knowing that there's new people that come into the space and potentially right away are getting fed some account, the response to them saying, hey, contact the team if you have a problem. And then they link some like scam Discord. And it's just like, oh my goodness. Here's the Bored Ape founder, Garga, on if they gave celebrities Bored Apes. Remember, we've talked about MoonPay, the fact that Jimmy Fallon, Paris Hilton, Post Malone, all of these big players had it. I never thought that it was given by Bored Apes. I always thought that it was MoonPay that did it. But here's what Garga had to say.
Yes, as far as I know, because we have never bought anybody a fucking Bored Ape. It was just that insane.
Well, my bad, because I was promoting all the FUD. Every time there was any FUD on Bored Apes, I was retweeting that shit. I thought Jay-Z had his gifted, Bieber had his gifted, Antonio Brown had his gifted, like everybody.
I own one Bored Ape. I've only ever owned one Bored Ape. I certainly didn't, I didn't even buy ones for my family, so I certainly didn't buy ones for other people. And
so this is where things get a little bit confusing, okay? Because my understanding is that it was MoonPay, because you saw MoonPay getting in all of this, and the question, which wasn't highlighted there, well, I mean, Garga said like yes off the beginning, but then goes into saying, so I don't know what the hell the question was before. Garga confirms that no celebrities were given a Bored Ape. Okay, cool. But like, I think they were still giving them, right? Like he's saying, oh, like he's, what's the right verb? He's insinuating that they went out and personally purchased them. And now, don't get me wrong. And I don't even know if we go down this rabbit hole. Frig it, Atari's here. We'll give the goods. I've had multiple like celebrities that you would probably know if you're in the esports scene, if you're in the streamer scene, that actually like reached out to me back when I was doing NBA Top Shot and like Bored Apes were going crazy. Like I had like one-on-one video calls with like very notable people that you would be like, no friggin' way. And I mean, I was sitting there like, no friggin' way. Well, clearly that doesn't happen anymore. You know what I mean? But back in the day, so there's 2 points to the argument, right? There's 2 points to the argument. Number one, I think that there's a good chance that a couple of them were genuinely interested in the industry of some sort. Was it exactly Paris Hilton? Was it exactly Jimmy Fallon? Was Paris Hilton into it because they needed to show interest because they were doing an NFT of their own? Because Paris Hilton did some pay for my wedding. We have this Polygon NFT. You know what I mean? No. They didn't want free shit. They were just asking about like my theory on stuff, like what I was interested, yada, yada, yada. And it was interesting. I was just like, holy shit. Like, it's cool that there's, bigger people that are interested in the Web3 space. And it's not just, well, not that we're nobodies by any means. Now that we're men, we can do anything. The SpongeBob movie. If you don't have, just toss that one in the garbage. But yeah, so basically the point being, holy shit, right? Like, there was people that were genuinely interested. Are they still anymore? I have no idea. This is somewhat misleading because Garga doesn't correct them and saying, oh, it was potentially MoonPay or other people. But let's get over it. Roar, it is a danger to use X on cell phones. Sometimes it just clicks alone on stuff by Ghost Touch. And I bet the scammers know. See, that's the thing. I don't know if like directly clicking a link like once is going to do anything. It's more like if you sign a transaction, if you go to do a download. I found as well that if you go into your browser reviews, Chrome, and I think of a couple of the other ones, you can actually set a setting where it will ask you to accept a download. So like, let's say that imagine this is a photo, right? And I right click it and I can save it. And then it would pop up in a window with like all my other files and whatnot and say, do you want to save? And so apparently that's a security tip. That's what I've done. But again, just go within your Chrome or whatever browser and try to find like a download tab, and then it'll have like a specific check mark. And I really love doing that. It's a peace of mind. This guy Rasmer is a tool. See, I think that's a guy named Gainsey. I don't think that's Rasmer. I think they look similar, but Rasmer's a lot younger. But yeah, or Gainsey. Okay, never mind. All of them look the same. You mean the Abstract token that Rugged wasn't organic? I love seeing the Dude, I'm so confused. Abstract came out, and I feel like it had one of the most positive sentiments that I've seen in the Web3 space in a very, very, very long time. And then all of a sudden, they're having these like launches and things that went sideways, which it kind of felt like the opposite for Ape Chain, where Ape Chain came out. There was people that were excited about stuff. 90% of things just like disappeared overnight. And now it feels like they're having substance and real things. And so it's like the two chains kind of they counterbalance each other a little bit. The late Jerry Buss purchased the Los Angeles Lakers for $67.5 million in 1979. 46 years later, the Buss family is entering agreement to sell the franchise for a historic valuation of approximately $10 billion. Sheesh. See, Buffalo, I hear you, but like I'm not even blaming Abstract for that. We've just seen so many compromises on X that it's just simply run of the mill at this point, to be totally honest. But speaking of sports, this is something that we need to watch because, you know, talking about the Abstract chain, talking about Ape Chain and how there's things that are going to last, there's things that are not. This is super interesting. FC Barcelona is saying that they are now going to have a digital wallet. And they're going to be doing these immersive, collectible, and other experiences. We've seen on tokens as well. So, like, just to try to give like a full picture here, I don't know if it was like AC Milan, there was Juventus, I feel like there was a run, Juventus fan token. So if you don't know, there was a run at a point where every single like major soccer team that was like in the UEFA Champions League and all that kind of stuff, if you're in the know, launched a token of some sort, and I don't know if they ever really had a purpose. To be totally honest, I have no idea if there was anything to it. We know that there was WAGME United, which was a Web3 variation of like you're able to vote if the team goes out and buys a striker, if they buy a defender. The concept of it was kind of cool. The locals ended up hating Web3. The whole thing was a complete debacle, and I don't even know if they're still like owners of it, to be totally frank. But there was a lot of different football agency that was in the space. And then SoRare, right? They raised like $600 million and they're doing sports. And so FC Barcelona coming in, having a Barca pass. And this is powered by Featureverse. Going to end up seeing what this looks like, but very, very cool news. And seeing some of the bigger players within the space is not too shabby. So to talk to Bored Ape again here, I'm just begging for entertainment. I'm out here and I'm begging for entertainment. And Bored Apes look like they might deliver. They have a samurai, a little spooky Jimmy the Monkey, kind of giving like the Stranger Things type of deal going on. Is this a game? Is this an anime? Is this a movie? I have no idea, but hell yeah. Why aren't video games better? So here's an example. If you play League of Legends, I know I brought it up a few times today, but here's a couple of the older skins within the game. So if you played earlier, whatever else, like, let me read this for an example. 5 rarest skins in the game. Jack, a couple of characters aren't as rare as a couple of the other ones because you can buy all the skins and ask Riot support for one of them. So apparently these are supposed to be exclusive. But you're able to reach out to them and then probably pay some form of money. But imagine if you were one of the first players of some of these games that end up being successful, and these ones just show a status. Listen, I want to show a status. You know what I mean? I want to look the part. I want to feel the part. I want to look the part. You know, if I played in the NBA, man, I would have the sleeves on both arms. I would have like tape around my fingers. I would be accessoried out. And I think a lot of people, right, you get made fun of that in like high school, college, whatever, if you did that. But I think generally speaking, a lot of people want to look the part. They want to do whatever, right? And so when the hell are these games going to allow that to be actually the case where these games are tradable in between? You're not going to get pwned for buying on secondary and all this other stuff. But what I wanted to highlight is the fact that somebody asked, how much is the average cost of this team? Does anyone know? $2,000 to $3,000, right? And we think of like what costs $2,000 to $3,000 within the crypto space right now for games that are like speculatively going to do good. Man, League of Legends skin would absolutely go to the moon if these were true ownership. Gib Entertainment for crying out loud. That's what we want. Remember the cannoli? They always rolling us in sugar. I doubt they will deliver more. Wait, are you talking about like the dessert food? Are you fudding food? That's a red card, Roar. I swear to God. The community of VFriends makes it more addicting than the actual product. Wish I got involved years ago to this level. What a fumble. Okay, so I want to highlight this, and I don't really care. Like some of you are going to be like, yeah, I like VFriends. Some of you are going to not. This is all that matters, right? There are so many people of so many different communities that I used to talk to religiously, that I used to be huge fans of, look forward to chatting with them every day. And simply because either parts of the community didn't work, people moved on to other things, whatever, those conversations just don't happen, right? I mean, we'll use like Bored Ape Yacht Club as an example. When they went to like the mega heights that it did, there was a ton of people that sold off, which is totally fine and absolutely hell yeah if you did. But for whatever reason, you don't really stay in touch with the people. And like now I feel like where people are kind of reconnecting, they're seeing each other on our timeline from focusing back then. Obviously, X algorithm is different, but there's not anything that's really brought people back together. But for the communities that do have something that people are looking forward to, maybe it's not your cup of tea, but the people that have that, I think that matters so much. And I think like Good Vibes Club is another one where recently it's done really well. VFriends has had like a flux of different interests, and I feel like they're back on the map after having the success around the trading card. And I don't know. I just think there's so many things where people want to get back together, enjoy being friends, and the lack of community in certain circumstances has dwindled that a little bit. I joined the Bad Buns called 100 Promises, Zero Utility to Feel Something. That's all we're going for, baby. Hell yeah. Okay, so Ninja is saying that AI, I'll make it smaller so you can see them, is going to wreck streaming? What the hell are we talking about here?
Unless they make it so that AI, like every single AI that is ever created, like video, right? Like those VEOs, unless there's like a watermark that cannot be removed or cannot be scrubbed or covered up, within the next 6 months to a year, streaming is going to be like, it's going to be impossible. And what I mean by that is like, there's just going to be so much fake videos and fake drama being spread around.
Fake videos and fake drama.
And yeah, it's going to be over.
Okay, so we'll continue to listen here in a second, but I agree that like on X, which is not streaming for the most part, right? Like people don't really go to X for streaming. If you're on X watching the stream, though, hell yeah, you're absolutely the best. True. But there's the amount of people that say, oh, there's a done deal between this player and that team, or this project is doing this, or what, and everybody's engagement farming. That's a huge issue. But that's not relating to streaming. And so are you saying, okay, there's going to be just an overhaul of like fake or AI streamers that are causing beef that are getting attention? Like, I feel like you need to have a face with that. I don't think people are going to really care about like a faceless cartoon character in the streaming sense, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's see if he's got more to it.
It's going to be GG. I mean, like, I'm just like, there's going to be AI of me just saying the most racist, crazy, ridiculous.
Oh. Okay, so he's saying that you have people that already have like a normalized face or, famous, recognizable, and the content that is being made is not actually from that person himself. Okay, never mind. That, you know what? That's absolutely fair enough. And I think I've caught a lot of AIs, and you can usually tell pretty quickly if something's fake, but he's not wrong. So never mind. I didn't like the take initially, but actually totally agree. Okay, we need to talk about security a little bit. Roar, are you down with security, good sir? He's talking about those VO3 fake videos or others, which can almost mimic someone playing a game, or maybe, yeah. No, you're totally right. I should have read your comment. You're absolutely right. I didn't realize he was going down that path. And it's not a good one. I agree. 1 minute, I was prepping for a Zoom call. 10 minutes later, large part of my life savings were gone. It started with a message on Telegram from Alex Lynn, not the NBA player. Someone I knew. He wanted to catch up. I shared my Calendly link. He booked a slot for the next day. A few minutes before the call, he asked me to switch to Zoom Business, in quotes, for compliance reasons. Said one of his LPs would be joining. Kent, who I also knew, like liquidity providers, what LP is, so just somebody with big bucks. Given we were doing a lot of treasury deals and that there was genuine LP interest, it didn't seem out of the ordinary. I joined the Zoom, no audio, but I could see both of them. They messaged in the chat, "Can you hear us?" They told me to update Zoom to fix the audio issue. That's when it happened, when I update. 6 wallets drained. My fault for not keeping things more buttoned up. My laptop compromised completely. Years of savings gone in minutes. I found out later that Alex's account has been hacked. And the worst part, while my wallet was being emptied, the hacker kept chatting on Telegram like nothing was going on. Okay. So this Dude, it's so weird because we do like the RWA segments podcast, and I'm waiting for a time where somebody says, "Yeah, I don't want to like a link to this thing, or do this, or do that," and it's really freaky because I think trust is a huge component, and even then, it's like, all right, well, what if something happens to like one of my socials? I don't realize. You get a message from me and you're like, well, okay, Schiller needs $10,000. He's a good guy. Sure. If that ever happens, you absolutely better not do any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like you tell me off and say, I should have done better with my money. But this thing is absolutely terrifying. And this is probably the second time I've seen someone that's been like directly hacked. This did happen to me, not like my account was hacked, but there was somebody else that got socially engineered. And then at like 2 a.m. I got a message and I was like looking at the site and I was like, what? This seems weird. And luckily all the light bulbs went off in my head and I avoided it. And then it was like a younger kid and a dad that were like doing a business within crypto. And so it was like the younger guy's account. And I was like, it's weird. But then the dad messaged me like a little bit later, being like, oh my God, are you okay? Did you get compromised? I'm like, listen, we're all good. Thank God. Thank God. But anyway, content will have to come from a personal verified accounts with AI protection against the AI to verify. Yeah, I mean, like the proof of human change should be somewhat interesting. Also, if someone is posting a link from a verified account, I never FOMO and always wait multiple hours and confirmations. 100%. So on the topic of compromises and whatnot, thank you, Matt Fury, for hiring a Fiverr dev. That gay red card. We like Fiverr. Contract got exploited and they opened the mint price at 0.005 or something ridiculous, and a ton of people ended up minting. So Matt Fury, creator of Pepe, has Heads, HEDZ. That's a collection and a couple of other different components to it. I guess something went horrifically wrong and they were, selling for like a decent bit, and then all of a sudden they were going for like $15. Why does something drastically bad happen in Web3 every single freaking day? Total clown fest. True. Today, the Australian digital dollar stablecoin AUDD officially launches on the Hedera network. What other currencies are going to come on chain? $1.5 million distributed to players. We talked about League of Legends a little bit earlier. Rank 1 gives a little bit of context to one of the Web3 games that I personally played the hell out of. So talking about Dead Man mode in RuneScape, if you happen to play, it was a $20,000 prize pool. For League of Legends in the North American League, it was a $200,000 prize pool. So again, massive jump from RuneScape, but not going to be touching what's going on here. Season 2 of Gold Rush would rank Play Cambry in the top 150 all-time esports payouts, and anyone could participate, not just pros. So there's a lot of components of this where guilds wanted to put in extra money, players wanted to put in extra money because you were able to get something back. So it's a completely different take on the model where all of these prize pools are either from, in this case, maybe Riot Games for League of Legends, maybe directly from RuneScape and their developer fund, where Play Cambria is all people that just thought, hey, this game is going to have an economic engine. There's going to be earnings from it. It's in Ethereum. Ethereum could go up or down. A little bit of speculation, but enough people that wanted to partake. And again, the game averaged about 3,000 person concurrent, but was able to have a prize pool of 1.5 million. Now, you break it down and it gets distributed in a way significant manner, but still, comparatively those, it's not bad. Also, someone is posting a link from very kind of, have you checked out Craft World? Token coming soon. Clickety-click farming game on Ronin. I have not. Craft World, eh? I like clickety-click. It's kind of funny. Makes me think of The Last of Us, the clickers. Also, check out DeLorean latest post giving out millions of US dollars for some competition coming soon. Listen, Atari, you're going to need to start up a blog here, sir. You got all the goods. I don't even know how to react to this, so let's just read the headline. 16 billion Apple, Facebook, Google, and other passwords leaked. I've read reports on this where they're saying if you've used like Apple's secure password manager, you're fine. I've had other people respond, or not to me, but on these posts saying, well, they got 15 plus billion people to go through before they get to my stuff. So if you want to be proactive, you can change your passwords. Hopefully you don't forget them. But they're saying this is the worst leak in history. 16 billion passwords. Unreal. Truly Unreal. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Quick, fast, and to the point. Quick reminder as well, the Abstract official X account is compromised. Yeah, Roar. It's ridiculous. But Atari God, Buffalo Space, Roar, thank you guys for coming in, making this fun, chatting a little bit here and there. We're going to be back tomorrow. We have all these other... Listen, we just go down the list. Can we make it where it like looks cool if we do that? Check. Watch it. When the hand... There we go. Then the hand's going. Then down... And do it again. Oh, there we go. There we go. Never mind. It's way too slow. See, we need things speedy. If not, it's chalked. All right. Have yourself a good one. See you tomorrow. Peace.